Welcome to Wand Turning 2315. Thank you for auditing this course. Okay, now that the humor started, okay, one easy thing to practice on is you buy cheap garden stakes. They're already square, you just cut off the tip. You have a nice little turning blank for practice. Turning today, little piece of ebony, and you always need to find centers. This is a nice little Blanc center finder. Only works out to about 1.5 inches or 2 inches though, so it has trouble with larger blanks. But at that point, you're often better off just taking a ruler and crossing over a few times to find the center.
That's actually made to be a center finder?
Yes.
Where'd you get it?
Woodcraft. I saw it and I'm like, okay, so it looks like something I can use. It wasn't that expensive at the time. So. And it puts a nice little center. And a punch a center and something to pass around.
So you lined up with the corner?
Yeah, but it will work on a circle too if it will fit in there.
Yeah, I've either.
Just pass. It's on one end. It's not a very good visible. And if you'll pass that around. For bigger work, I tend to like something like this, or just a plain ruler, or such, just to get across the entire surface. Makes it easier to find a center. Between the two, you have a couple of options. And once you have centers, because you've got the little grooves to catch on, you often will want to make cuts. And this is just basically a cheap little small hacksaw.
Where'd you get the hacksaw?
I think I got that one at Harbor Freight for about $5.
So, Ben, why did you cut the slit in the end?
The idea is to help get a grip over here at the turning end.
Okay.
And since I'm going to be doing most of my turning with carbide, I want to try to get my center point about the level of the center of the turning and not too far from. You always have to remember to make sure it will turn through. Pardon me, I put on some safety glasses over my glasses. Normally when turning, I'm going to be wearing a mask because my wife is concerned and my doctor's concerned about the wood dust and wood shavings. First step is always to round.
Do you have a special source for your blanks? It's much longer than a pen blank.
This piece actually came from the quote-unquote buy at a certain rate for cut-off wood at either a Rockler or Woodcraft one day. I've also cut down pieces like, as I said, for practice I've been cutting up garden stakes, and I keep the tips to use as wedges for other things. Fortunately, I forgot to bring a rubber mallet because sometimes you have to force it onto the head end. So it will actually catch and turn. So I'm gonna just.
Anybody been to Dusty Wood Warehouse for wood? South Kentucky?
Where?
Got it, they got blanks that long, 30 need. Where?
Dusty Wood Warehouse,
South Kentucky.
Niebling.
Auto auction, yeah.
sort of Niebling Road right off of South Kentucky. Good place, yeah, good prices too. You need to call him, because he's not always there.
That's still Robert's place? He's still on it?
No,
Jim Shoe is his name.
Jim Shoe,
Okay.
Jim Shoy, actually, he pronounces it Shoy.
Find him.
The first thing is, of course, you have to turn it round.
Ben, what's your spindle speed?
It's been about 2,500. The carbide
Is it slipping on the spindle?
it does, yes, because I forgot to bring my mallet to hammer it in a little bit.
You may be able to push it in a little more even with your tailstock.
Hey Ben, you might be able to take your piece of, your square piece there and use it like a mallet.
Yeah, I was using I used the hammer on the end of the piece here too. Yeah, it's catching better now than it was. Just short of 2,500 RPM. Here it is, basically rounded, ready to go for shaping. We're going to make the tip at this end so it will be narrower. Shifting for a moment to our detailing tool. And cut a couple of quick rings. And then with the quote-unquote finisher, as they call it, we're going to cut a couple of codes in. Back to our square rougher. And just before I finish this off, if you notice, with these pieces left on, it looks a lot like a stair banister. Just FYI, it's a nice way to practice for something like that. Here's where I normally have some issues, because well, hey, they break off, you sand down the edges, cut off the back piece, with a hacksaw for instance. You polish it up, wand. And the little coves to the back. Questions, comments?